wanted to do this real quick live because I just prayed as I was driving, asking God to give me an answer. And about 30 seconds later, He did. And the reason I'm sharing this is because I want to encourage you. The more you spend time with Jesus, the more you spend time, that sun is like right in my eyes, with Him in His Word and listening to worship music, worshiping, God is going to speak. And the more you do it, the more He's going to speak. The more the conversation just becomes more of a natural everyday, every moment thing. It's abiding. And so I was asking God, I'm like, when I'm sharing with someone and they say, well, how do you know that, that's God talking? How do you know that comes from God? That's not just a thought that you're having in your own head. And I'm like, well, that's a good question. Lord, what would I say? I'm not going to go and ask a friend. I said, Lord, I don't want to ask a friend how they would answer. I want to ask you. So I'm driving and maybe 30 seconds later, He gives me the Good Shepherd. My sheep know me. I know my sheep and my sheep know my voice. And then He gave me a very simple explanation. He said, think about if somebody blindfolds you and they say, okay, you're in a room full of friends and family and everyone's going to say, hey, hi, it's how are you, how you doing? Or they say a sentence and you know who it is because you know those people. You spend time with them, you know their voice. Same goes with God, right? The more you spend time with Him, the more I spend time with Jesus, the more I recognize His voice from my own voice or from another voice, from the voice from the lies, right? There's a lot of lies that get sent to us, right? A lot of lies out there. So you can recognize the voice of God and you will hear from Him through you read the Word. I promise you, He's going to speak, but you have to be open to hear the truth. You have to be open to Him, to the real God of the Bible, the God who is the one and only true God, the one who is alive, who's not in the grave. So this is an encouragement. I'm going to challenge you, if you see this, get into the scriptures, ask Jesus, if you're real, show yourself to me. And if you mean if you're really looking for the real God, the real Jesus, not the one that maybe you want God to be or who you want God to be, but if you're real and you mean it, He will, because the scriptures that promise that, right? He says, you'll find me when you seek for me with all of your heart. God is always the initiator. He always starts it. We think that we're seeking, but we're not. We're just responding. We just don't know He's searching. He's kind of lighting that little fire inside of us to seek Him. But He will. And He says, call to me and I'll answer you and I'll show you great and mighty things that you don't know. Spend time in His Word. Ask Him to speak. And then anything that you hear, you got to make sure it's driving with Scripture, right? Because if you hear something you don't really know God well yet, and you hear something, you got to make sure it lines up with Scripture, because God will never contradict His Word. Okay, so that's just my encouragement. God bless you all. Have a great day. And even if you read 5 minutes of the Bible today. Okay?